OBS didn't just go away, it crashed, but we're back. But yeah, I've got to grab some water, so I will just mute it. Alright, I think we're good to go. Nope, that's not it. Almost. Okay, here's the game. It always alarms me when OBS crashes, because it's like, how long ago did it crash? Is it going to crash again? Who can say? Alright, so once... I have no idea who made these games or where they've come from or what they're meant to mean or whatever, but considering the person in the cage, the young person in the cage bleeding out at the start, and the phrase always was and always will be, I am going to completely commit to this idea that it is about like a cross-sectionality between LGBT people and Aboriginal rights. Let's run with it. I think it's an interesting topic. Because queer politics, you know, it's an alliance, and not just of like lesbian and gay guys, but also, I think, marginalized people around the world. The machinery is caked in blood. Wait, have I read that? Yes. So you can't even be mad when they're grinding you into death. Calm down, it's only tough love from old friends. Keep up and you'll be out in no time. It's such a sinister hecking joke. Because once again, I always think with these things is the people who are marginalized, their requests do seem incredibly reasonable. Like, don't use spitfoods on young people. Don't try young people as adults, I guess, or fund mental health services for, you know, you send in the police kind of thing. And that's not just good for the people, it's good for the police as well. Like, I don't know any person that signed up to the police because they want to be a mental health worker, you know? They want to help the community. Yes. This could be... I don't know how garbled this is all coming out today. When the night comes, we return to our cells. I check and double check under the bunk. I mean, I said I love the font, but actually it's hell to read. Pupils like a lightning strike, wondering when peripheral shadows will take on murderous shapes. That concrete separating each inmate, I can feel someone living inside it, and it's only a matter of time before they come for me. I love this milkshake thing. I'm so pleased that the developer gave us an option to turn off the actual like action components. I think maybe they did it because they wanted people to see the story more than to play the game, which is, you know, super valid, but also from an accessibility issue. This has just made this game so much more accessible to me. I love good accessibility in a game, although it is a little hard to control. But that could just be because I'm using controller. The walks invaded her dreams. In this space, she could regain agency, throw off her suit, rip out that bomb if she felt like it. But it all seemed so real. What if she was still awake and the explosion scorched her to a black stain? Boy, she'd have egg on her face then. She marched in silence through waking sleep. I think we're getting... I mean, we're kind of hearing of her despair, really. it becomes like a bloody milkshake. That's really interesting. Ah, nailed it. Okay. A different morning arrives, but proceeds just the same. The little tube of bleach gets past my way. Before I can ingest it, a hand chokes my wrist. The guard says he wants to take me to meet someone. I hope it's a doctor. Uh-oh. We can't stop it now. Let her eat... Oh, oops. I've got to move into this little safe bit here. Yep, okay. We can't stop it now, lest it eat into our profit. No, we can't stop it now, lest it eat into profit. Better watch out, punk. I'll slaughter you if you don't drop it. I wonder if that's lyrics to something. And in my ignorance, I've just like misdelivered one of the greatest lyrics of all time or something. Because it's pretty good. Better watch out, punk. Lest it eat into profit. Yes. We don't quite have as many private prisons in Australia as other countries, but we still have them. I've always been a little bit confused about why you would make the justice system a for-profit thing. It seems to me that's anti-justice. To introduce any other motive into the system other than, you know, redemption or punishment. I was introduced to the warden, a fat man who laughed at me too much. I tried to be polite, but I didn't like him, the type to casually pick at your illness like it's a crossword puzzle. Oh, we're all guilty of that. He thinks he knows me, better than I know me. I'll kill that pig. Hecking Hecker? Hecking Hested? No, Hecking Hecker. Queer games. Heck yeah! I don't know what this is. It's like a giant baby's head. Oh, it could be a bomb, nuclear bomb, atomic bomb. The render of her brain. Oh, is it a brain? Maybe. The render of her brain was molten anger and worry all the way through. The stem would snap under the pressure before she reached 25 emergency measures were necessary. I garbled that a little bit, but we're getting the picture. Okay, we've gone way over our time on it, but let's not beat ourselves up. Some games you've just got to give them the space. You've just got to go where you want to go. Because I feel like we're progressing. You know, I guess that's a big part of it. Well, screenshot that. The audio reminds me of the opening to quite a weird little sci-fi show that recently got cancelled. Just to date the stream a little bit. What was it called? It's about Raised by Wolves, about two robots that are raising kids on another planet. Unfortunately, the premise, to me, that premise is enough for a show. It's like, oh, these robots are entrusted with the last of humanity's kids on a planet, and the robots are completely inequipped to be parents. They're great at like being robots, but they're terrible at being human parents. And then the kids are being raised by these two robots. I just think that's a strong concept. And you could just kind of do it like story of the week kind of style. But the show, I think, had pretensions to be something a bit more, sort of a bit more of a mystery box kind of show. Not to its credit. I mean, it was great to watch. Like, I'm very pleased it existed. But I always think it's like, you've got a really great premise. Don't be so quick to throw it out in the name of being fancy. The warden's name was the same as mine. It's a fine name, I guess, as good as any other. I'll take whatever you give to me without complaining. I'm not trying to cause any trouble here. Who is this? Was this the warden? Yes. American meat. I'm elated to collapse into the grinder. At last my flesh will rend. I cherish this closeness, the unflinching belief that this smiling puppy's face will flower open and swallow me whole. He wants to take my skull apart and give it a look-see. Whatever works best for you, sir. The time before she came was spent mirrored. Sorry. I garbled that. We'll start again. The time before she came was spent mirrored, her shapes infinitely refracting, back and forth, then back again. She looked at it for weeks, counting and counting, thinking and counting, until being made spreadsheet. We're gonna let it fall. Constant visions of concurrent realities, each one antithetical, but all equally correct. Realer than a neck in a noose, heavier than a death in the family. That's a great line. Realer than a neck in a noose. I'm gonna have to assume this is all original, like poetry stuff. If it is, it's brilliant. Realer than a neck in a noose. That'd make a good tattoo. The only piece left is cold worry. None of these horrors have actually happened, but I'll will them into existence if need be, and spend every moment in the preemptive terror state I have to feel like heck until my heart stops. Okay, now I'm confused. I think they were worried about this happening. His drill pierced my brain when I was still conscious. Hips flail in acute angles. Staccato moan. Then silence. A success. I can only imagine how hard this game was if we were still playing it. Beautiful, I'm going to say husky. 1, 2, 3. Chrome plate holding neurotic heaps of matter. So are we still lying dead at dying in the cage, or has our brain been extracted, or was our fear was going to happen, and so that's why we've killed ourselves, or have we killed ourselves? You can't really tell. Chrome plate holding neurotic heaps of matter. The warden tells me I'll be a good boy from now on. It's been a few years since then, and my mind is clean, but the anger and worry stay steeped in my blood. Okay, I think it sounds like we've had surgery kind of forced on us to maybe confirm an identity, a gender identity. Oops, come on. The only language we're fluent in now is fear, Lord. The only language we're fluent in now is fear. Everybody come and gawk at how they broke the stupid queer. Screenshot that. Daily injections melt the skull and spinal cord, gunk slopping back down the neck hole, looking like a hollowed out pumpkin until the chest detonates with great force. There's a bit of body horror in this. I mean, this bloody maze is a really great way of getting across what I suspect is the feeling. I mean, I've only really got my own my own heck to compare it to, but those nightmarish times when you've sort of been trapped in a situation out of your control and nobody's like listening or taking seriously, or even worse, kind of denying or actively working against what you believe to be true. I feel that's coming across in this game. Revealing the skeleton of a small bird sitting on the throne of the previous form, squawking and squawking. That one older crater face girl, she has a heroin addict eating cigarette She was a heroin addict, eating cigarette butts off the street. 4'8", saber-tooth mentality. She can do anything, always in control, always in trouble. The confidence makes me weep. Where are we? We're there. Smiley face. A bit of binding as well. It's interesting. Well, it mentioned American meat, which I guess implied it was an American game. But, you know, heroin, big problem in Australia. More so than in America, I believe. I want her to take me, tie me up, make me helpless. Those restraints, that sweat, that force. I changed my mind. I want them now. Teach me how to be a good girl. Only in moments spent congealing does it seem like there's still hope. If only I could steal a piece of her heat and make it my own. Oop, oh no. The guards sift my pleas for release. I can't stand missing the Brian Wilson show. I can't stand missing Dad's burial. Please take me home. Get over yourself. They're looking for remorse, aren't finding it. They ask me directly. I open my mouth, but the words mangle until I get frustrated and give up. They pretend I didn't say anything. Love you. I'll be interested to go back to the website and see if the author has like elaborated on the game themes, because I've projected a lot of my own like thoughts onto it, which I always think is like kind of the reason I go in cold, right? Is because I want to have that unfiltered experience of a game. To me, that's one of the great luxuries of art, really. But then I almost always go back and see, oh, what were they actually? What did I get wrong? Rehab never stops, but they can't hold you forever. Hurry the song and dance as if it's rebirth, as if some rebirth has taken place. You'll get out and wonder how much was sincere. The worry takes over. In there, too, every step forward warps into a little lie. Threat level maxed on permanent. I butchered that. The problem with this, the problem with this game is that it demands to be taken seriously because it's clearly a work of art. And so my garbled rendition of it, I don't think is helping. The worry takes over. In there too, every step forward warps into a lie. Threat level maxed on permanent. Threat level maxed on permanent. That would be a great tattoo. Eventually the sun froze over and died. We still had to walk for miles. Trudging through absolute zero, tending fires, building character. Oops, come on. Down we go. I mean, we have gone... Maybe we'll only get to one game today on Queer Games Heck Yeah, because this gave the appearance of being a 5-minute game, but it's actually quite substantial, which is a great thing. Oh, I'm going to take a break. Okay. I mean, a break as in I've just got to set us down. I've just got to stop bleeding out for a moment and have a sip of water. Alright, let's take off. Come on. I think that's a heart. Or oh. Surely I should know what heart looks like. Could be a lung. I probably could have done without the gravity on the blood drip. It's kind of aesthetically interesting, but it's hard to control. The ice kept the dead visible just beneath the surface, all of their hate preserved flawlessly. One of these days it'll overflow back to the world of the living and drag every one of us to hell. Here we go. Almost. The fun houses. Oh, come on. The fun houses have all been filled up to burst. I said the fun houses have all been filled up to burst, but there's always more hoodlums that need to be hearsed. That's great. I'm gonna take a screenshot of that. This game's got a vibe. I'm loving it. Maybe the difficulty of navigating the blood around is actually brilliant. No, now I sound like my head is up my own ass. But, it kind of, I feel like it's driving me forward a little bit. Like, the challenge of that. Late at night, she returns to her cell, checking under the bunk, expecting an intruder, just like always. And this time, there finally is. Oh my god, that's terrifying. Like, it's terrifying that you would be expecting that. Because what led you to that? And then to actually find someone. I don't know what that is. She hears her muscle tissue stretch thinner around her head. The heartbeat races, the figures emerge. She cries out, distorted nothing. Which brings us back to the present. That we're still on the floor of our cage. Another Thursday night is falling apart. A young girl lies, bleeding out in the arms of a steel cage. The killers already made ghosts of themselves. Oh, it wasn't suicide. Oh no, we've missed the whole... Come on. Ah, there we go. Oh, poof. And now her blood branches outwards through the bricks beneath the quantum space prison for troubled children. Up ahead lies the central control tower she will pour herself into until the computers fire crack open and everyone walks free. That's the dream, right? How much blood can one person hold? I feel like it's gone on for kilometers. Okay, the junkies and adrenaline hound thieves, the quiet psychotic types, the poor bastards who never hurt anyone, and the people who took her life. These kids are ill-equipped, most will remain broken and dangerous, and at the end of the day, nothing she can do will change the fact that she's already a hecking dead. I saw the light from heaven shining all around. I saw the light come shining. She does not care. There has to be a better way than whatever the hell this is. Human souls weren't meant for cages. That's true. I mean, I hear there's some country where it's not illegal to try and break out of prison because the natural state of a human is to be free, and so you can't punish them for wanting to be free. But if you damage anything on your way out of the prison, that's breaking the law. And I mean, it's sort of weird, but I kind of like... the effect is the same. Like, the law has a fancy way of doing that, right? It's like, they don't want you to do something. So they'll pass a law that's entirely reasonable, but will still get them what they want. So it's like, of course you're allowed to leave prison because you're a free person. Like, your natural state is to be free. But if you leave marks on the walls, we're going to charge you a cleaning fee. Yeah, I think this is the end, because I don't see where to go any further. What a special game. What a really remarkable game. I can't say I fully understood what was happening. I think that's one of those things where you get on a second playthrough, or if you weren't splitting your attention between a stream and the game, you'd probably pick up a bit more on the nuance. But it certainly provoked thoughts in me, about trans identity, about medical intervention, about for-profit medical advice, really, Australia's terrible, terrible, terrible race relations at the moment. Deaths in custody, which is a big thing, or should be a big thing. Maybe it's not a big enough thing. Um, yeah. Are we trying to flood the computers with blood? But I just get the feeling that this is just what do you call it? Just a drawing on the screen that we're covering with blood. Oops. But as I said, we've given this the second slot of the day as well. Because normally with Queer Games Heck Yeah we do 2 games. But, let's just do 1 game today. There are no rules. The only rule is that there are no rules. Some games are just worth it. That's not to take away from the other games, but this one commanded a bit of respect. That's pretty cool. I've gotten so far into covering this area up that now I have to finish, in case there is like an endgame state. But it is a hassle. Okay. Oh. Almost. Okay. I mean, it could be something as simple as, because there's no villains, there's no atoms to collect in this final level. We won't be triggering an endgame state. There may not be an endgame state. That's very common in these types of games, I think. But just in the case that there is, we should complete it. Oh no, now we can't actually... Oh, there we go! Ah, and what a fabulous score. We did a great job, everyone. Alright, that was Quantum Bummer Blues in 2 parts. A little break where Obs cracked the sads in the middle, but that actually break worked out quite well. That was a great game. I always think there's like 2 halves to being queer. There's kind of like your physical situation, like you're same-sex attracted in my case, etc., etc. But there's also like the political element of it, or just the artistic side of it. I really loved that this was definitely more in like the queer as in unusual kind of game, like just playing as blood dripping through the floor. That is such a queer concept, like aesthetically or artistically. Yep, super powerful. Very happy with that one.